Hello everyone, welcome to another beer review. Now today we're actually on a Sunday video. Whoa, yes, indeedy, maybe a real beer. And we're back on the Palmer series, and we've actually got the India Pale Ale. Woohoo, quite nice apparently. I've never had this, so when I said apparently, it's because I've seen some articles about Palmers, and they said that the IPA was supposed to be quite nice. It's 4.2%, 500ml bottle, and it's a traditional English style India Pale Ale, mid-amber in colour, goldings for bitterness, and delicate aroma from Slovenian hops make this a well-balanced, best bitter. Definitely worth trying. So it's an IPA, traditional IPA, but then start talking about best bitter. So make of that what you will. Our fine ales are brewed in the original old brewery at Bridport, Dorset. They combine the finest ingredients with the traditional methods that have built Palmer's reputation since 1794. There you go. Get up, shebang shebang. Right. Let's get it open. This was kindly donated by Adrian. It was very nice. Thank you very much, Adrian. An absolute pleasure, sir. Now, the first one we did, now what was that? That first one was, I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it a pale ale? I think it was a pale ale, because I think at the time we did a before that we did a pale ale from St Austell's, Anthem, that was it. And yeah, it was the Anthem one was dreadful, and the pale ale from Palmer's, well, it was night and day. It was a proper ale for a start. It wasn't a kind of mock ale, you know, whereas like they just add the kind of separate flavours that you're supposed to get. It just didn't feel like it was actually brewed that way. It just felt kind of synthetic, the St Austell's Anthem. Whereas the Palmer one had body, it had the right flavours, it just had so many things that just, you know, set it apart. It was actually a really nice ale. I actually quite enjoyed that. So you can see straight away this has got a bit about it. You can just see how it's just kind of acting and everything else smell wise. Yeah, you're getting malt, get a bit of hops, getting grain, and yeah, you can identify, you get a little bit of toffee there, light toffee, bit of caramel. You get a bit of sweetness there as well, but the sweetness feels like it's a part of the malt, and you'll probably get that when you taste it. And you'll probably find if the malt kind of slightly, you know, kind of drops down a little bit, the sweetness will probably do it as well. And again, yeah, it's quite dark, obviously, for an IPA. IPAs are usually a little bit lighter, although they can be darker as well. So, let's see what it tastes like. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I'd like this in a growler, and that's not a euphemism. You can actually get their live beer in stainless steel growlers, and that's something what I might do. Is at some point I might just do that. Go in and get a couple of growlers. Well, they're not stainless steel. I think they also do the plastic ones as well, and maybe get a couple of plastic growlers. I think they're charging about 60 quid for the stainless steel one, so that would go down the plastic one. Because I'm a cheap bastard. I'm Scottish, for fuck's sake. Don't look at me like that. You know. Just want to be true to my culture, you know. But yeah, it's nice because you just have that first sip there and it feels like it's properly brewed with proper ingredients, and yeah, and you get all the benefit of that. It's got the kind of the body, it's got the flavours, it's got the mouth feel. It's just, you know what I mean, it's like it's got everything you want, you know. And unfortunately, when you start doing the kind of mainstream piss water ales and things like that, when you drink a properly brewed ale with good ingredients, it just stands out so much compared to these fucking mediocre piss waters. I mean, what have we done recently? They've been absolutely mediocre piss waters. We did Hobgoblin. Jesus, I just, synthetic, you know, nasty pish. And then we had the flavourless, ubiquitous Belhaven Best, you know, no flavour, that's normal, carry on. And yeah, you think, they're all shite beers, they really are, just fucking shite. And then you get something that's decent. And remember, I didn't even buy this, I've got no dog in the fight whatsoever. But just straight away, you just think, oh, if you're into real ales, and a lot of real ale drinkers know what I'm talking about, is when you base it on a bottle, even a bottle, and you pour it, and then you taste it, you think, Jesus, this is a properly brewed beer with decent ingredients. And it just stands out so much, it really is, it's night and fucking day. And it just kind of makes you think that all these brewers that are involved with making the piss waters, I mean, how do they look at themselves in the mirror at night? I mean, seriously, because at the end of the day, if they can taste the likes of the Hobgoblin piss waters and the Belhavens and all the other shit and the St. Austins, and you're thinking, oh, seriously, you know what I mean? You must know this tastes of piss. And to try and defend it or justify it, I mean, fuck off, seriously. It's indefensible. It really is. I mean, they're saying it's a traditional, it's only kind of downside, they're saying it's a kind of a traditional English style India Pale Ale. It's a bit weaker at the back end, and that's why it kind of gives me more of an idea of, you know, it's a well balanced best bitter, because it probably is more of a best bitter than an IPA, because it doesn't really have the hop back end. It does give you more of a kind of a southern bitter, which one of the major things about southern bitters is they're usually lacking in the bitter a bit, especially compared to kind of Yorkshire bitters and things like that, and bitters for up north, you know what I mean, that type of thing. Yeah. But it's still nice, it is. I mean, it's probably stretching it to call it an IPA, but yeah, it's actually very nice. Which is a bit of a strange, because I thought this being an IPA, I actually went for it, I expected it to be a bit lighter. And I thought, I'll do this one. I've also got the Dorset Gold in the pack. And I thought I'll do this one after the IPA just to kind of break it up a wee bit. And yeah, this has turned out to be a bit darker and a bit more malty than what I thought, which means as a case as though when I do the next one, it's going to be the Golden Ale, and of course it's going to be lighter than this one, which the whole idea was to start building up a bit towards the darker ones, and I've kind of missed the state. So that's my own fuck up. I kind of miscalled it, what it said in when I read the label IPA. Well, it's kind of, you know what I mean. I'll do that maybe before the Golden Ale, because they're going to be kind of slightly kind of similar in colour wise and everything else, but then maybe slightly malt kind of content. Yeah, that wasn't actually the case. So it wasn't. Yes. So, what's really been happening in the world? Partly Trump's supposed to be coming to visit. One good thing though, now, well, I think it's a good thing, probably other people don't, but obviously growing up on the west coast of Scotland and playing a lot of golf when I was younger, my father and I were obviously members of Tunbury and things like that over the years, and obviously Trump now owns it, and I think obviously with some of the kind of political backlash of their kind of march on the kind of the political heartland of Washington DC and all that type of stuff, and the protests and the storming of the Senate and things like that. There was a slight backlash that it was reported that Tunbury was removed from kind of the British Open kind of availability lists on the basis of that as a political backlash to Trump and everything else of his kind of first term and things like that. Turns out that might not actually be the case. I think it's a case that's more to do with infrastructure and everything else, and the lack of rail links and things like that, you know, and all that kind of stuff. You know, the biggest problem is obviously the numbers have increased over the years with people going to the British Open, and if you're having to rely really solely on roads, then that becomes a problem. And when you're attending these kind of sporting events, they want to have multiple things like rail links and things like that, because obviously that takes the kind of the pressure off the roads and traffic and everything else. So that's one of the big problems, which I think obviously the Royal and Ancient has turned around and says that yes, they've got no problem in bringing Tunbury back onto the availability list, as long as there is improvement in the kind of infrastructure for kind of transport. And I don't know how they're going to really do that. I honestly really don't know. I think that's the kind of downside of it. Royal Troon's just up the road, and because of Prestwick Airport, you've also got rail links straight from Prestwick Airport to actually Troon, the kind of town where the golf course is. It works a treat. Unfortunately, there is no railway station at Tunbury. So unfortunately, if you fly into kind of Glasgow Prestwick or things like that, or you even fly from Glasgow, the closest you can get is Girvan on the railway, which is south of Tunbury, which is where I was actually born and grew up in Girvan. You know, I'm well liked there. I'm a fuck actually. I was one of the ones that terrorised that place, so they'll think I'm an arsehole there. So I love going back there just to rub their nose in it, just to kind of prove I'm still alive. You know, but yeah. So yeah, that's the kind of closest. So then of course you're coming back up the road again, which then causes problems. So yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. It really isn't. And again, hotels. I mean, there isn't the hotels in Girvan as it used to be. Yeah, you've got the hotel at Tunbury, but a lot of times, see what happens when a Tunbury Open used to be on, then a lot of the locals in Tunbury would piss off for a holiday and rent out their houses. And most of the time it used to be golfers that used to rent them out, because there's some nice kind of big houses around about kind of Tunbury kind of village, and also maidens, and all the kind of golfers used to rent them and things like that as their entourage and things like that, because it means the cases they can get acclimatised better, so they would rent them out for at least the week before the tournament started and things like that, and that gave them a chance to acclimatise, play the courses, that type of stuff, and also just get better to the kind of conditions and things like that, because it's a links course and all that. So overall, it was great. It was always a big thing, because even right back to school, I worked as picking up litter at Tunbury. I've done lots of different I've done the senior opens, I've done the scoreboards. I've done quite a few different jobs over the years at different golfing tournaments at Tunbury, and it was always great. It was a wonderful experience and everything else, and you got to meet some of the great golfers like Seve Ballesteros. I mean, I was Wimpy Waste Management I was working for, I think I was in primary school at the time, and I was going around collecting rubbish and things like that, and I still actually have my t-shirt, Wimpy Waste Management t-shirt, and it's got Seve Ballesteros' signature on it, and Bernard Langer and Ian Woosnam, and it was fucking great, brilliant. And these were just wonderful memories, and that's the thing that probably annoys me more, that if these tournaments aren't held at Tunbury, then there's generations of kids that are missing out the chance of, getting the same experiences that I got. And it's just wonderful. It was really enjoyable. So hopefully something can be sorted out to improve the infrastructure, that Tunbury can get back onto the availability list for the British Open, because it's a damn good course, and let's be totally honest, it's a damn good Open when it's there as well, you know what I mean? Because it's a course, because it's a linked course, yeah. Every round is different, every day is different, and yeah, it can give you, it can be lovely and great weather, and it can be an absolute fucking nightmare and bad weather, so it's, you know what I mean? And yeah, I've played it many a time, and yeah, I've had good days and bad days on it, and it's one of these ones that's kind of lost. As a local person, it's kind of lost, and I would like to see it back again, and hopefully. And it's nice to see that Trump himself isn't the issue. It's really more to do with transport and infrastructure, so hopefully that will come back. I think there's a case as though he will be over, I think he's opening a new course to Trump up in his Aberdeenshire area. I think they're opening a new course there, but then he'll be down at Tunbury and he'll play a couple of rounds there. So again, it gets Tunbury back into the the media and the spotlight. Maybe to a degree in a positive way, but also maybe in some way it's also a negative way as well, because at the end of the day there's a lot of anti-Trump sentiment, let's be totally honest. There's as many people that support Trump, there's probably about twice as many that are against him. Me, I don't give a shit, I'll be totally honest. I've always thought that Trump, even before he got into politics, I always thought he was a bit of a fucking chancer, I'll be totally honest, and I still think that. I wouldn't believe a fucking word that came out of his mouth. And yeah, and he's absolutely egotistical, let's be fucking totally honest. But at the end of the day, who am I to say? It's what the Americans vote for is what they get, you know what I mean? We've got enough fucking problems in this country without worrying what the fuck's going on over the pond. That's their fucking problem. Get out you. But yeah, so hopefully there'll be some more positive news over the next few years regarding Tunbury, because it's a lovely course, and I would definitely recommend going to play it if you're into golf, and enjoy some nice whiskey with it, because you sure as hell won't get it with a fucking beer. So break down these flavours. Starts off, you get a nice level of malt, you get nice caramel, nice toffee malts, a nice level sweetness, a nice bit of grain. Move on to the mid tongue, and you're trying to get a broad yet. The flavours are quite vibrant, they're quite alive, there's a freshness to them, because obviously it's quality ingredients. And there's also a nice mouthfeel that goes with that you pick up almost instantly from the front of the mouth. Moves on to the mid tongue, and yeah, you're getting some slight some slight tannins. You're getting ever so slight kind of tan bitterness there. The malt kind of stays the same, the sweetness stays the same, the grain stays the same. You start also picking up some little kind of light kind of hops as well. But yeah, you're getting ever so slight kind of tannins, you know, kind of ever so slight kind of tea back ends, you know what I mean? Especially near the back of the mid-tongue before it transfers over. But yeah, during the kind of middle of the mid-tongue, you just get a little kind of accent hopped flavours. And there's, you know, they're hoppy with a little kind of hint of floral, just very light. Overall, very nice, very pleasant. But again, nice body, nice mouthfeel, and it just kind of all goes together as a... I'm not saying it's a rich beer, but you got a little kind of sensation of richness, that little kind of feeling of quality, you know, that type of stuff. And when it moves over to the kind of, from the back of the mid-tongue to the back of the mouth, the aftertaste, the slight tannin flavours kind of linger. There's a little bit of bitterness there, not much, and most flavours are kind of dissipate quite quickly. But just as the kind of one that kind of drags on that little bit is that little bit of kind of slightly kind of tannin, ever so slight tea-like flavour, which is slightly kind of linked a bit to that kind of little bit you get in the back of the mouth. And overall, it's just a nicely balanced beer. And I like it. I like it. So what would I give it out of 10? Here's the question. Very enjoyable, this. It really is, actually. I mean, for the last few reviews, I've drunk piss. I'll be totally honest. I've opened piss, I've bought piss, I've opened piss, and I've drunk piss. And it's delivered piss. It really has. And then you open, you know, like I say, a decent beer, and it just, oh, it's like it's fucking night and day. It just stands out so much. So it does. It just stands out so much. I think if there is, it's night and day. It really is. Which makes you wonder if people that were actually drinking this kind of mainstream fucking piss water ale, if they actually tasted a decent ale. I'd love to see what the reaction was. You know, problem is always price. I don't know the price of this, and I'm not going to search it out, because at the end of the day, it was provided as a gift, and because it was done as a kind of tasting pack, I'm not looking at it from a point of a tasting pack, and I'm not checking it out. So what I do is I just look at, if you're buying this as a pack of these beers, that's the price I put down. You know, if it's a 12 pack or a 24 pack or whatever, I'll just take whatever price it is, divide it by the amount of bottles, and then that's what the bottle number is, and that's what I'll put up in the kind of beer facts down below. So I'm not looking too much into it, and I'm not actually taking it on board when I'm actually doing my scoring. So what would I give it out of 10? That is nice, it really is, it's nice. It's just a nice feel to it. So I'm going to give this a 7. It really is actually quite nice. Not so much of an IPA, like I say, it is more towards a kind of Sun style bitter. But that's not a bad thing, because it's still a very nice beer, and you know it's been brewed properly. You can taste the quality of ingredients because there is that clarity to the flavours. Lovely mouthfeel, like I said before, and just overall an absolute pleasure to drink. Again, obviously from the bottle, if you're basically getting the live beer, it'd be a few notches above that as well. And that's what I'll try and do. I will try over the next few months, is I'll try and get some growlers of this in the live beer versions, and see how that goes. And we'll do the reviews again with the live stuff. But yeah, overall, I would recommend it. 7 out of 10. It's 4.2%, 500ml bottle, and yes, very, very enjoyable, and definitely something I would recommend. If you ever see it when you're on your travels or kicking about, then go for it. And if you ever get the chance to kind of even just see it in the bottle on the supermarket shelf or whatever, go for it, grab it. You won't regret it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.